Hi, good morning to all. How are you, my dear soldiers? Is it my
Fine,
voice
sir.
is clearly audible to Alma?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Okay. So most of the members are just wake up, right? Let me know. Most of the members are just wake up. Oh, me only just wake up. Nobody is there along with me. So I wake up just now. Chandu told correct answer. Yes, sir, me too. Okay, right. Fine, no issues. So without wasting much time, let me directly entering into the subject. So yesterday we started the basics, crux of the accounting. So where we started with the definition of the accounting. Accounting is basically language of the business. Accounting is the process of recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpreting the transactions which can be expressed in terms of finance and communicating such information to interested parties in such information. So where we will records are into journal, what we records are into journal entries. So in generally, it will be in the form of raw transactions. So the base document will be invoice or vouchers. Such a journal entries will be recorded in chronological order. I discussed the format of the journal. So the basic technique we are using to record any journal entry for any transaction by using accounting equation approach we discussed in yesterday's session, that is opening capital plus income plus liabilities is equal to assets plus expenses. If there is any increase in assets or expenses, it should be debited. If there is any decrease, it should be credited. If there is any increase in capital or income or liabilities, it should be credited. Otherwise, it should be debited. So after completion of journal, we are in the process of classification. The book in which we will classify is known as ledger. Each and every account will be in T-shaped format. Left hand side, we are treated as a debit side. Right hand side, we are treating as a credit side. So the simple technique of processing of transferring of journal entries from journal to ledger is known as posting. Sir, in case of posting, how we have to give such postings are ante, while passing the journal entry, if that specific aspect is having a debit aspect, on debit side we have to post. In such a journal entry, if that specific aspect had a credit aspect, then we have to transfer on the credit side. After completion of posting, we should balance each and every account. Then if the total of the debits exceeds the total of the credit, the difference we are treating as by balance carried down, and for here to balance brought down. That's why missionary account is set to be shown as a debit balance. Here sales account is set to be shown as a credit balance. That means balance B by D under which side the account will show under the such balance. And sir, in generally assets and expenses are having debit balances, capital, income and liabilities having the credit balances. What is the meaning of debit balance and credit balance are, and it is depending upon for which account you are telling will ultimately knows, then you can easily understand what is the meaning of debit balance and credit balance. Hope I give clarification in yesterday's session itself. Then after that we are moving with trial balance. Sir, trial balance is a simple statement which is a trial statement prepared before preparation of the financials. Even though trial balance is also related to the summarization process, but before preparation of financials we will prepare. For which reason we will prepare? To know the arithmetical accuracy. After knowing each and every account balance in the ledger with the ultimate balances, we will prepare the trial balance. Ultimately in the trial balance, assets will be there, liabilities will be there, income will be there, expense will be there, capital will be there. After preparation of trial balance, total of debit aspects is equal to total of credit aspects. If it not happened, then there is no arithmetical accuracy, then definitely there is some errors exist. If total of debit aspects is equal to total of credit aspects, also we don't know, still there may be a possibility of error will exist, but we don't know. But if trial balance doesn't match, then definitely error will be there. Even though trial balance will match, there may be possibility of error exist. We don't know. Okay, right. Then preparation of financials. So basically trading account and P&L account put together, we are known as statement of profit and loss account. Coming to balance sheet. So balance sheet will be prepared as on a specific date, which tells the financial position, how much you are worthy. That is, what are all the different assets you had, what are all the different liabilities you had in your entity. And one more thing, cash flow statement will also treated as a part and parcel of financials. You'll know you're not having any relationship with cash flow statement. Okay. Then analysis part, I told you how, why ultimately you are preparing financials are for the purpose of making different analysis. On the basis of such analysis, better decision making will be possible. That decisions are nothing but interpretations. Ultimately, such interpretations will be communicated to stakeholders of the entity. Then we started with the discussing the important concepts in accounting. The first and foremost concept was accrual. So what I told, the accounting concepts are nothing but those concepts which are useful to understand the accounting in better manner. So the first and foremost concept we discussed, accrual. As per accrual concept, once the transaction occurred, it should be recorded in books of accounts. That means you should not record your books of accounts, you should not record your transactions on the basis of cash, you should record on the basis of occurrence. That is the ultimate meaning of the accrual concept. Based on such a accrual concept, we discussed 4 issues, where here I discussed outstanding expenses related to expense, prepaid expenses related to income, outstanding income and income received in advance. Outstanding expenditure is a liability, prepaid expenditure is an asset, outstanding income or receivable income is an asset, income received in advance is a liability. Sir, how I can pass the journal entries, sir, and apply the basic accounting equation approach. So you can simply pass the journal entries. In detailed explanation was given in yesterday's session by taking the different examples related to outstanding expenses, prepaid expenses, outstanding income and income received in advance. I don't want to explain once again. Okay, just I gave in detail explanation yesterday class. Then I discussed some part. Sir, if some component was given in trial balance, if some components were given below the trial balance, why in generally they will give below the trial balance, sir, ante at the time of preparation of trial balance they may not be recorded in books of accounts. That's why as an adjustments they are making such adjustments to the trial balance. Then we will consider such adjustment while preparing the financials. That's why they are giving under adjustments. I told you practically. Sir, if something was given in trial balance means it was already recorded in the books of accounts in the form of journal entries. If something was given below the trial balance means till now not yet recorded any journal entry, we have to record now. Don't by heart anything, visualize conceptually what is happening, you can easily understand. So yesterday's session I completed up to this part, hopefully. Can you please confirm at least one party?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. So today, definitely you will enjoy my session. Why? Because I'm dealing such a beautiful concepts. Till now, you are not having any clarity. Maybe some persons having the clarity but may not have confidence. There is no clear cut thought about that concept. I'm taking such concepts which completely you can visualize the entire accounting. If you know such small concepts, I'm taking such small concepts which give the ultimate influence, and the way of thought process will completely change on accounting subject. Shall we go? Are you with me, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Right. The first and foremost topic I'm dealing, Today date 11th, right? Tell me, yaar, at least one person. Today 11th, right?
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
When something is happening. That's why I am unable to write here. Just hold for a minute. Just a second. Oh my God, it is happening. Let me close that one note and open again. Yes. Eleven to 2021. Okay. Session number 2. Still, I am continuing intro, which was session number 2. Right. Sir, you know the concept of conservatism, right? Conservatism.
Prudence, sir.
Conservatism, right? What is the meaning of conservatism? Please, all of you participate in your chat box, friends. Please, all of you participate. So, fire your bullets. What is the meaning of conservatism? I'm not asking the conservatism technical way. If I spell the word conservatism, what it means? Tell me, yeah. No, nobody is participating in the chat box. Chat box is in your hand, not in my hand. Protect, sir. Yes, somebody told protect. Okay. What else? Ownership. Oh, super. What else? What else? One, friends. Others. So maybe prevention. Oh, super. Excellent. Maybe sometimes you may use this word. Sir, some people are very conservative. Some people are very conservative. Some people are very conservative means they are thinking very forward. They are thinking very forward. For example, if they required in future 1 rupee, they are trying to save 2 rupees right now itself. So people are very conservative. Some people, some people are not at all conservative. Even though they required 1 rupee in future, they will expend entire money right now. Such people in general, we are telling that not conservative. Okay. Am I right? Will you agree something like that? So conservative people means they are having much more thinking abilities about the future. So the people who are not conservative means they are not thinking anything about the future. In simple terms, I can express in that way without knowing anything about the conservatism. Now coming to this topic, so related to accounting, we are recording always historical transactions. Historical transactions means once that transaction occurred in my business, I will record in accounting. Agree. Along with that, in future, if there is a probability, that probability is also high probability. In future, if there is a high probability to occur any known expenses or losses. In future, there is a high probability to occur any known expenses or losses. For such expenses or losses, you have to create provision. based on the concept of conservatism. Based on the concept of conservatism. Sir, ultimately, what is the meaning of conservatism concept, sir? Ante, the meaning of conservatism concept is anticipate
Future expenses or losses.
yes, anticipate all future
Possible.
correct, all future possible expenses and losses, but not incomes
And gains.
gains. Superb, excellent. You can anticipate all future possible expenses and losses. So in future there is a probability to occur some expense or losses, then I will take into account in the form of provision. But in future there is a probability to occur any known income or gain is there, I will not take into consideration. That's why we are creating provision to certain things. So let me give some examples for provision. You are creating every time provision for bad debts, right?
Yes, sir.
That means you know one fact, sir, in future there is a chance of getting a bad debt. There is a chance of getting a loss from a debtor. There is a probability, high probability. Then we can create a PBD, which is provision for bad debt. Maybe you can create a provision for warranties. Just I am giving some examples, provisions. Provision for warranties. I can take these two examples for better understanding. For better understanding, more than enough. So many provisions are there. For better understanding, I can take these two things. Provision for bad debts, provision for warranties. Now, my next question. Sir, we understood why we have to create a provision. We understood why we have to create a provision. Friends, some disturbance is coming, friends. Please put yourself under mute all. Okay. Hope you understand why we have to create a provision. Now I am discussing what is the accounting treatment for provision. What is the accounting treatment for provision with the component PBD. By taking the component PBD, just I want to explain accounting treatment. Sir, provision is nothing but set aside some amount from P&L. Set aside certain profit from P&L. For example, here P&L is there. The right hand side incomes will be there. Left hand side expenses will be there. Income minus expenses will be the net profit, right? Out of this net profit, please put set aside. Please put set aside certain amount for provision. That means, sir, in the next year, there is a chance of occurring 5,000 as a bad debt according to my estimate. Then I want to create provision for bad debts to the extent of 5,000. Then what is the accounting treatment, sir? Out of the current year profits, I will set aside 5,000 in the form of PBD. Now, can you please tell me anyone what is the journal entry for PBD? Tell me, friends, what is the journal entry for PBD?
Provision for
Here itself is there, na? Under P&L. Here debit side we are recording means what is the
P&L
journal
account
entry?
data to provision for P&L, provision for bad debts
Super,
account.
excellent. That's it. That is profit and loss account data
Two.
to provision for
Bad debts.
correct. So
5,000.
many persons will think that PBD will be reduced from debtors in the financial statement, that is balance sheet. That's why the entry may be debtors to PBD. They may think like that, but this is not the correct journal entry. This is the correct journal entry. Even though we are creating a PBD in P&L, rather than showing under liability side in balance sheet, just we are reducing from debtors. That is the only thing. Sir, here it is a credit aspect means PBD having a credit balance. Which accounts in generally have credit balance? Either a liability account or either income account or either a capital account. It is not a capital, nor a income. That's why I can categorize PPD as a liability. So such a PPD, rather than showing under liability side in balance sheet, I will reduce from the debtors. But the original journal entry will be P&L account debtor to PPD account. Is it clear to all?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Between loss making companies, sir.
Yes, sir.
in what about loss making company? Coming to your point, my dear. Coming to your point. Okay. Now, sir, provision will be created only if I am getting profits. Can I create a provision even though
Losses.
company occurring losses also? It is my doubt. Can you please clarify, anyone? If I am having profits, anyway I will create, I can create. If I am getting losses as well, can I create a provision?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Your answers all of you with your chart box. You are not at all using your chart box, friends. It should be in your hand always. You should use. In case of losses also, in case of losses also, can I use?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right? Okay. Concentrate. Provision can be created irrespective of the fact whether you are getting profits or losses. That's why provision is known as charge against
Profit.
profits. Charge against profit means, sir, whether you are getting profits or not, it is irrelevant for me. Against to profit, whether you are getting profit, whether you are getting loss, I don't mind. I can create a provision. Now, I think so. I cleared your doubt. Irrespective of the fact whether you are getting profits or losses, you can create a provision. Why? Because provision means you are putting set aside something from the P&L. Even though if you are getting loss, if you are putting something from the P&L, what will happen, sir? And loss may increase. That's it. Nothing will happen. Hope you understand. Now,
Yes, sir.
the real discussion now starts coming to provisions. Concentrate, all of you. So many persons having these doubts in your final accounts at the time of dealing such things in your foundation. Concentrate. Sir, I told you, based on my past experience, in the next year, the bad debts may occur to the extent of 5,000. That's why I created PPD to the extent of 5,000 by passing a journal entry, P&L account data to PPD account 5,000. This is year number one. Coming to year number two. What will happen, sir? In year number two, the real bad debts happened to the extent of 3,000 only. So based on my estimation, in the next year, how much bad debts may occur? In the next year, based on my estimation, how much bad debts is going to occur? 5,000, correct? In year one, yeah. In year one, based on my estimation, I thought that there may be a chance of to the extent of 5,000 may occur in future. But while going into the year number two, in real, how much bad debts occurred?
3,000.
3,000. Now, what is the accounting treatment, sir? Sir, at the time of occurrence of the bad debt, the journal entry is bad debt account debtor.
To debtors.
Correct. We have to reduce the debtors right now. Bad debts account debtor to debtors account 3,000. Concentrate, all of you. Now, I don't want to transfer such bad debts to P&L. Why? Because, sir, I created already provision for that purpose only. Why you are created a provision, sir? And I already set aside certain amount for the purpose of future bad debts. I will set off these bad debts with
Current
PBD. With the PBD. Concentrate, friends. In generally, if such a provision for bad debts is not exist, this is an expenditure. expenditure should be closed and transferred to P&L. If there is no PBD, let us assume if there is no PBD, the journal entry is P&L to bad debt. Will you agree? First, this one.
Yes, sir.
But I don't want to transfer to the P&L. The reason is I already created a certain PBD. PBD means set aside something for the purpose of future loss. The future loss is bad debt. I already set aside something. Now, such a PBD will be utilized to set off bad debt.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
what is the journal entries are ante?
PBD to
PBD account debtor
to
to bad debts
bad debt.
account. Bad debts
2000.
account. How much?
2000.
3,000. Yeah. How much is the bad debt? 3,000.
3,000.
I have to set off now. Why you are confusing that many number of times? What happened? Simple, the bad debts are set off with PVD. Now bad debt showing 3,000. Set off the bad debts 3,000. You are having debit balance. Now at the time of cancellation, it will have credit balance. PVD in generally having the credit balance. At the time of cancellation, it will get debit balance. That's it. Such a simple journal entry. Okay, fine, sir. Did you understand all of you up to this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, my next question, sir, after utilizing the PBD to set off the bad debts, how much balance is there in PBD account?
2000.
2000.
2000.
Correct. 5,000 minus 3,000, 2,000.
2000.
Agreed. Now concentrate. Now, the remaining balance in PBD, was 2,000. Agreed. Again, I will estimate for the next year how much amount of bad debts may occur according to my past experience, according to my business nature, according to the customers' issues. I can decide how much amount of bad debt may occur in the future. Then management decide that, sorry, in future, there may be a chance of getting 8,000 as bad debt, sir. Now already we had how much?
2000.
2000.
Now how much needed?
6000.
6,000.
Now to the extent of 6,000, I have to create a provision. Means what is the journal entry for the purpose of creation of provision?
P&L account
P&L account data to
provision for
provision.
bad debts.
Provision for bad debts.
Excellent. That is the journal entry. P&L to PBD 6,000. Now in the balance sheet, how much we are showing as a PBD, sir? First we are taking debtors. From such debtors, I am reducing PBD. Now how much PBD I will reduce, sir? Ante 2,000 opening plus 6,000 total
8000.
8000.
8,000. But in P&L, how much I am debiting in the form of PBD, sir? Ante only 6,000. Did you understand that logic?
Yes, sir.
But in your foundation, you may learn it a lot of times. Sorry, if something was given in the adjustment, then you have to do like that. Something PBD was given in trend balance, you have to do like that. Please don't follow all such a bloody concepts, friends. Those are not at all the real sense of explaining the things. The real conceptual things are you have to visualize. Sir, PBD is nothing but, which is an estimate, some bad debts going to occur. That's why I created in year number 1, P&L to PBD, which is a journal entry. In the next year, the real bad debts were 3,000. I will set off bad debts with the PBD. The remaining PBD balance was 2,000. But again, I estimated for the next year how much will be the bad debt. 8,000 based on my experience. Still, I needed 6,000. That 6,000 only I created in the P&L. In balance sheet, I represented 2,000 plus 6,000, total 8,000. For any provision, not only for the provision for bad debts, for any provision, you can go in the same flow. How much amount will go to the P&L? How much amount can I represent the balance sheet? You can easily know by visualizing such things in the same manner. Is it okay? Now, all of you, do you have good conceptual knowledge on PBD?
Sir.
Okay. Next, the same way, provision for warrant is also in the same way, friends. Provision for warrant is also in the same way. Let me give some example for provision for warranties. Then I will quickly finish it off. Concentrate. Sir, In generally, as you know, most of the times, automobile industry or some electronic gadgets or some electronic equipments, most of the times they are giving warranties, right? Tell me,
Yes,
friends.
sir.
Yes,
That
sir.
mobile phones, okay, and watches, refrigerators, okay, all such things. What is this mobile? Can anyone
Realme,
guess?
sir.
Uh,
Realme, sir.
OnePlus.
Realme? Okay.
OnePlus Nord, sir.
Uh, yes, it's 1+7 actually. It's 1+7. So every mobile, whatever the case may be, every mobile having their own warranty period, right? So let us assume for a particular business, that is for OnePlus itself, just they are offering warranty of 5 years. Let us assume warranty of 5 years. Now, in such 5 years, if any device having any problem, then they can approach the service center. Then service center people will provide the service at a free of cost, right? That is nothing but a warranty, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the problem is, I am in year number 1. I am in year number 1 after sale. Maybe from year 2 to year 5, there is a chance of occurring certain warranty expenses. That's why at the year number 1 itself, I want to create some provision for warranty expenses by passing the entry P&L to
Account data
provision
to
for
provision for warranty.
Warranty.
provision for warranty expenses, like that. How much, sir? Let us assume 10,000. Let us assume 10,000 based on all the sales and all such things. Then really year number 2 I entered. Sir, year number 2, only warranty expenses I incurred to the extent of 6,000. Let us assume warranty expenses to bank. How much I incurred, sir? 6,000. Now such warranty expenses should be knocked off with a provision for
Provision
warranty
for
expenses,
warranty
right?
expense.
Now the journal
Provision for
entry is correct.
provision for
Provision
warranty.
for warranty
Warranty.
expenses
to
To warranty.
to us.
excellent,
Warranty.
excellent. Now I'm asking one more question. After setting of this, how much balance is there in provision for warranty expenses?
4,000.
4,000.
4,000. Again, I will estimate for the next future. So for example, in the next year, I'm going to incur 8,000. Let us assume we are already having 4,000. So one more 4,000 we have to create in the form of provision by passing the journal entry P&L account data to provision for warranty.
Warranties.
Such a simple thing, friends. Okay. So like these simple things, you complicated yourself in your foundation. What is there here? Simple visualization. Fine. Next, my next concept. Okay. Yes, ma.
Instead of
So person who want to talk, you can put yourself under unmute and you can talk.
carry forward, we can reverse the entry now, sir. Provision, sir.
Yes, you can reverse, sir. In future, if there is no provision, for example, in case sir, there is no chance of occurring any expense or ante, then the closing provision, if you want, you can reverse. Sir, what our friend is want to ask, for example, here I told you, sir, in future there is a chance of occurring warranty expenses 8,000. But in future there is no warranty expenses. For example, warranty period gone, warranty period over. Then still provision how much you are having here where it is. Still provision how much you are having 10,000 minus
10,000.
6,000 you are having at that point of time. If you want, you can reverse it. Sir, warranty period over, sir, and you can reverse the entry provision for warranty expenses to P&L. Yes, you can do that. But when you have to do that, there is no chance of occurring any warranty expenses in the future. Is it okay, ma?
No, we can reverse and next year again we can open, sir.
No. Then you are violating the conservatism concept. Why you are creating a provision? Why you are creating a
For 5
provision?
years.
Why you are creating a provision? For future, if there is a high probability to occur any known expenses or losses, you are knowing that, sir, in future, there is a chance of getting some expenses and losses, but still you are not recording means you are violating the conservatism concept.
Sir, okay.
Tell me, my dear, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then, my next point. Concentrate. My next point. Do you know the difference between provision and reserve? Do you know the difference between provision and reserve? It starts with P, sir. It starts with R, sir. Don't tell like that, okay? Tell me, yaar. Please participate. Sir, your entire, all the person's guns are completely rusted. Nobody is sending any, nobody is sending any bullets. Nobody is firing. First day, so many members are firing. Where is that fire? What is the difference? Please participate. Okay, let me tell. Nobody is participating. First one.
Reserve means
Ah.
purpose to put assets, sir. Profit.
Reserve means
We put some profit for a specific person for future. Provision means estimated loss or liability.
okay. What else? Apart from that, any other person? Provision is based on contingency. Reserve means surplus remaining. Oh. Oh my God. Now let me differentiate. Provision is created for probable losses and expenses. That means at the time of creation of provision, you will know what will happen in the future, at least something. Probable losses and expenses. That fact I already explained. Reserve, it is created for unknown things. It is created for unknown things. Sir, unknown things means maybe I can utilize such reserve for any purpose. I don't know. Maybe I can utilize such reserve for expansion. Maybe I can utilize such reserve for distribution of dividend. I maybe purchase some fixed asset from reserve. I don't know. From unknown things. But why you are creating such reserves, sir, ante? To safeguard myself. To safeguard myself in difficult position, in difficult situation. For example, I can tell you the classic and practical example. Sir, in the pandemic, most of the times, for most of the organizations, what happened? Their entire profits were eroded. The sustainability itself may be in question mark. At that point of time in future, we are generating so much of profits. Out of such profits, we are not utilizing certain profits we transfer to reserves. We can utilize such reserves for the purpose of sustainability to safeguard myself in difficult situation. It is created for unknown things. Number two, can you please tell me, all of you, provision is a charge
Against profit.
against profits. This is important. Charge against profits. But reserve is a appropriation of profits. Appropriation means once if you are getting profit, then you can appropriate something to reserve. If you are getting loss, you cannot appropriate anything to reserve. So appropriation means if you are getting something as a profit, then you can transfer to reserve. If yourself, if you end up with losses, you cannot transfer anything to the reserve. That is the difference between charge against and appropriation. Will you get that point, friends?
Yes, sir.
Next, one more difference just I want to tell you. Sir, provision is created in P&L itself. In P&L means before deriving the net profit, we are creating such a provision. But reserve, I will prepare P&L. I am getting something as a net profit. After that, I will prepare one more account which was P&L appropriation account. Sir, this net profit is there now. Out of this net profit, how much will go to the capital? How much will go to the reserves? For example, this is net profit brought down. Let me assume this was 1 lakh. Out of 1 lakh, 30% I am transferring to general reserve. Let us assume that is
30,000.
general reserve 30,000. Remaining will be added to the capital. That is remaining capital. Let us assume that will be
70,000.
70,000.
so that means reserve is an appropriation item, provision is a P&L item. That's why we are telling provision is a charge against profits, reserve is appropriation of
Appropriation
profits.
of profit.
Correct. I can put in another mode as well. Provision is above the line item. Provision we are creating here, right? If this is the line, if this is a line, provision we are creating above the line item, reserve is created below the line item. Will you agree?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's it, friends. That is the difference between provision and reserve. Now, friends, all of you with me? Did you
Yes,
able to
sir.
understand? Okay, fine. Now, explain types of reserves. Let me explain types of reserves. Who is that, ma? Kids are there. You are enjoying like anything now while listening sessions. Okay. Types of reserves. Can you please tell me anyone how many types of reserves are there? How many types of reserves are there?
General reserve, capital reserve.
General reserve,
Capital reserve.
only 2 types. There are no other reserves. Anyone please participate? Only general reserve, capital reserve. Revenue reserve, somebody is telling, oh my God.
Statutory reserve.
Statutory reserve, oh, somebody is telling.
Unrealized reserve, realized reserve.
Unrealized reserve, realized reserve, oh my God. Oh my God, so many reserves are coming here. Capital redemption reserve, somebody is telling. Okay. Okay. So many times we are having confusion. How many types of reserves are there? What are the uses? We don't know actually. So let me put full stop for that. Sir, from today onwards, we are only having 2 types of reserves. Number 1, free reserves. Number 2, restricted reserves. Wherever you go, whatever you said, it bifurcated into free reserves, restricted reserves. That's it. It was bifurcated into free reserves, restricted reserves. So what is the meaning of free reserves, sir? What is the meaning of free reserves? Freely available. That's why we are telling it as a free reserve.
You can
No.
use it any purpose.
No. Free reserves are those reserves which are freely available for distribution of dividend. For distribution of dividend. Sir, there is no restriction. You can use such a reserve for the purpose of distribution of dividend. Nobody will object. No section will object. No person will object. You can directly utilize such a reserve for the purpose of distribution of dividend. Then it is known as free reserve. In generally, general reserve is a free reserve. Yes, nobody will object. General reserve can be utilized for any purpose. That's why it can be utilized for distribution of dividend as well. Capital reserve is there, right? Capital reserve. Tell me, friends.
Yes, sir.
Such a capital reserve can also useful for distribution of dividend. Can also, but maybe some restrictions are there. I don't mind. I don't mind. If you satisfy such complaints, which is also freely available. That means I cannot put directly capital reserve as a free reserve. Sometimes it may act as a free reserve. Sometimes it may not. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. There are some complaints in the Companies Act 2013 exist. If you satisfy such complaints, you can utilize capital reserve also for the purpose of distribution of dividend. Yes. Restricted means, sir, if I am not complied such conditions, at that point of time, capital reserve may act as a restricted reserve. That means capital reserve is not a free reserve, not a restricted reserve. Sometimes it may act as free, sometimes it may act as restricted. Somebody told, sir, statutory reserve. Statutory reserve. Sir, why you are maintaining statutory reserve? Some statute told. Statute means some act told. Sir, as per Companies Act, you have to maintain that reserve. As per Foreign Exchange Management Act, FEMA Act, you have to maintain foreign exchange fluctuation reserve. Like that, as per any act, if you are maintaining something, it should be useful. It should be utilized as per the prescribed things, as per the prescribed utilizations only. You should not utilize that particular statutory reserve for any other purposes. That's why which is having a restricted use, which can be termed as a restricted reserves. Any reserve you can take it, you can check, sir, whether it is freely available for distribution of dividend, then it is free. Otherwise, it is restricted reserve. That's it, friends. Taken any reserves. Right now, you can tell any reserves. Somebody tell, sir, debenture redemption reserve, sir. Debenture redemption reserve is not a free reserve. From DRR, can you distribute the dividend? No, which is a restricted reserve. Debenture redemption reserve. Somebody told in the chat box, sir, which was a restricted reserve. You can tell any reserve. I can put it into either free or restricted reserve. Can you please tell me any other reserves? Any other reserves, whatever the case may be. If you can tell me, I can put it into either free or restricted very easily. Tell me, yaar. Revaluation reserve. Revaluation reserve, which is a restricted. You cannot utilize revaluation reserve for the purpose of distribution of the dividend. Revaluation reserve. Why? Because which was not in realized form at all. Revaluation means which was not realized in the form of cash. That's why revaluation reserve is also restricted reserve. So it cannot be useful for the purpose of distribution of the dividend. Is there any other thing? So more than enough. More than enough. So simply, reserves are two types: free reserves, restricted reserves. Those reserves which are freely available for distribution of dividend, free reserves. Otherwise, I can term it as a restricted reserves. Next point. Friends, we're almost completed 1 hour session. I told you the basic difference between provision and reserve. So provision, why we are creating based on conservatism concept, also I discussed that part. Right now, types of reserves also I explained. Now let me go into the next thing. Concentrate, all of you. Friends, is it interesting? At least some unknown facts you are realizing? Or are you feeling boring? No, nobody is giving any reply in the chat box. Yes, sir. So let me quickly check the persons. Are you with me or not? Abhilash, are you with me, Amma? Abhilash? Abhilash? Yes? Okay. Priyanka, are you with me, Amma? Priyanka?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Ishwarika, are you with me, Amma? No response from Ishwarika.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Who is this Gana?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Gautam, are you there, ma?
Yes, sir.
Fine, everything is fine, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let me continue the flow. So our next topic, I want to explain things related to our accounting subject. Then I mean related to our IPCC accounting subject. Accounting. Can you please tell me, all of you, accounting is the paper number 1 or paper number 2 na?
1.
Sir.
1.
Oh, everybody knows, huh? Paper 1. Okay. Fine. Sir, in accounting paper number 1, how many marks they will allot the paper? For how many marks they will allot the paper? Can you please tell me, anyone?
80,
120 marks.
120 or 113.
130. Oh my God. It will not happen 130. Chandu told 100. No, it's not 100.
120, sir.
Absolutely, sir.
Absolutely. was for 120 marks. Do you know how many questions they will give? How many questions they will give, you know?
No, sir.
Sir, for the entire paper, just they are giving 6 questions. Just they are giving 6 questions. So you are learning all such things only for answering such 6 questions. Do you know each question carry how many marks?
20.
20 marks.
That's it.
20.
Then only 6 into 20, 120 marks logic will apply, right? So it will be each and every question for 20 marks. Correct. Next. Do you know one more thing? Out of these 6 questions, question number 1 will be
Compulsory.
Compulsory question.
compulsory. Fine. Out of the remaining 5 questions,
Optional.
Optional
you have
question.
to give answers for.
4 questions.
4.
Correct. 4 questions. You are right. Absolutely right. 4 questions. So that is the pattern of designing the question paper, not only for accounts, for any of your group 1 or group 2. Now, coming to the blueprint. What is this? Tell me, what is this? Blueprint.
Blueprint.
Blueprint. Blueprint means will be in blue, right? Not like that. Blueprint means how many marks is going to allocate by the ICAI from each and every chapter. Like that, for the new syllabus, they are giving the blueprint or the weightage. So is this an ICAI weightage also we know now? Sir, while beginning from the or inception of the new course, just they give the blueprint, but nobody inserted in the classroom environment. But our entire teach of styling based on the marks weightage only. Why? Because you're ultimately going to give your attempt. So we should design it in such a way that the entire topics we are going to deal according to the blueprint of the ICAI, which was given in the BOSS Knowledge Portal, BOS, BOSS Knowledge Portal. Let me open to agree the terms. Let me open that. I will show you the same thing I am explaining right now. BOS Knowledge Portal. Everybody know, right? Our ICAI having that portal, right?
Yes,
Under
sir.
new scheme of education and training, section wise weightage for subjects. Is it appearing to all?
Yes, sir.
Now I am opening. From May 2020 examination onwards. This is the blueprint. Section wide weightage for subject under the revised scheme of education and training. And the material is also in blue color. That's why, which is a blueprint, right? Let me open our topic. Oh, already crossed that. If you observe intermediate course paper 1 accounting, right? So
Yes,
weight is
sir.
given, right?
Yes, sir.
The same thing right now I'm taking. Concentrate. So with this blueprint, just I'm introducing the chapter names as well. Entire blueprint is for 120 marks. They are broadly categorized into 4 categories. How many categories?
4 categories.
4 categories. So if you have your notebook with you, please mention that categories as well once I completed. So please observe, once I completed, I'll give you sufficient time to record such things. Category 1, category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4. Category 4. Those are the 4 categories. So under category number 1, 3 topics will be covered. 3 topics. Number one, first topic, framework for preparation of financials, preparation of financial statements. This is topic number one, framework for preparation of financials. Topic number two, introduction and applicability of,
Accounting standards.
correct, introduction and applicability of accounting standards. Number three, that individual accounting standards. Under individual accounting standards, AS1 is part of your syllabus,
AS2.
AS2, AS3, AS10, AS11, AS12, AS13, AS16. How many standards are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Tell me, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So total 8 standards are form part of your entire accounting standards. That is category number 1. Sir, how many marks they are going to cover from the category number 1, sir? Ante it's 20 to 30%. Can you please tell me 20 to 30% means 120 into 20%? How much it is? 24.
24.
120 into 30% is 36. That means in between 24 to 36 marks. I can't tell you exact number or figure. In between the marks will be covered. In between the marks will be covered. That is 20 to 30%. That is related to category number 1. Now let me go with category number 2. Can I proceed to category number 2?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Sir, category number 2 related to special transactions. Special transactions. That means in your entity, we are having so many transactions. Purchase of goods is a transaction. Sale of goods is a transaction. Purchase of fixed asset is a transaction. Like that, there are some special transactions are there. For each and every special transaction, one chapter is there. For example, one special transaction, purchasing some investment, making some investment, which is investment accounts. Which is investment accounts, which is a special transaction. Investing somewhere is a special transaction. We are dealing such thing. Sir, maybe there is a chance of getting losses in the future, loss of stock, maybe theft, anything may happen. That's why we may take insurance, right? Tell me, friends.
Yes, sir.
So insurance is also a special type of transaction. So that's why we are dealing one more chapter on a special transaction, which was
Claims.
insurance claims, correct? Insurance claims. One more special transaction, hire purchase. It's not a
Installment.
normal purchase. This is a higher purchase. And installment sale transactions, hire purchase and installment transactions. So I will tell you in detail, no worries. We are dealing all such things. Just I am rounding each and everything. That's it. Which is a special transactions type. Which is a special transactions. Sir, how many marks they are going to cover, sir? And tell me, friends, again, 22. 30%. Coming to category number 3. Special accounting. These are not special transactions. Special accounting. Accounting wise special. Sir, if I am having various departments, sir, I am dealing with 4 products. I am having 4 different departments, sir. Department A, Department B, Department C, Department D. I am dealing with 4 products. I want to know each and every department individual profit. For that, I am maintaining
Department.
special accounting.
Departmental
which is a
account.
Departmental accounts. Departmental accounts. Sir, I am having various branches in India. One branch is there in Lucknow, one branch is there in Delhi, one branch is there in Chennai, one branch is there in Pune, one branch is there
Branch
in
account.
Hyderabad.
Branch accounts.
Then we may
Account
know
branch
profit or
accounts.
loss of each and every branch. That's why we are maintaining a branch accounts, which is a special accounting. Sir, I'm not maintaining any books of accounts till I want to know profit or loss of my organization.
Incomplete
You are
reports.
giving some incompleted information. From that incompleted information, I will fulfill the financial statements. That means, which is also a special art. From an incompleted record to complete the books of account is also a special art. We are learning such thing also from incompleted records. From incompleted records. Incomplete records. Incomplete records. That is special accounting. The last one, which is a category 4, the last one, which is a category 4, pure things related to companies. Under companies, what are all the different areas you are touching, sir? First and foremost thing, financial statements of companies. Along with this, here only we are learning
Profit and loss.
financial statement comprises of all here. Here only we are learning managerial remuneration. Managerial remuneration. This is completely new topic to you. Managerial remuneration. Second one, profit or loss
Prior to incorporation.
prior to incorporation, correct? Profit or loss prior to incorporation. Topic number 3.
Account.
Bonus and right issue.
Correct.
Accounting for
for
bonus issue.
accounting for bonus and
Bonus issue.
Right issues.
right issue, correct? Accounting for bonus and right issue. Topic number 4.
Redemption of
Redemption preferences.
Right, absolutely. Redemption of
Preferences.
Friendship.
preferences. Topic number 5.
Redemption.
Redemption of
Debentures.
debentures. Absolutely. Almost 5 topics are there in companies. Do you know special accounting, how much percentage is going to cover? Again, 20 to 30%. Category 4, how much percentage you know? Tell me, yaar.
30 to 35.
25 to 35. So that means just if you made it 20 plus 20, 40, 40 plus 20, 60, 60 plus 25, 85. Here, 85% to 85% to 30 plus 30, 60, 60 plus 30, 90, 90 plus 30, 125. Just they are providing 85 to 125%. Meanwhile, from category wise, how much you can expect, just they give as a blueprint. Now, first what you will do, all weightage, blueprint or weightage. You can put the heading either blueprint or weightage. Take your first page of your notes. Okay. Make it into cross. Make it into cross. Then you will get a big page, right? Like my lappy screen. Okay. Then you can divide it into category 1, category 2, category 3, category 4. Please record all of you each and every individual chapter. This is very, very important. Why? Because while going a for future days, or if I'm going to the future days, where exactly you are, what are the pending issues are there, which topic you are going to deal, how many marks they are going to cover, all such things I don't want to deal once again. You can easily know all such things by seeing this diacritic representation itself. Okay. Ajay, screenshot. Sir, for you, if you want, you can take a screenshot. And some regular students are also there. They are giving their attempt in November 2021. They are very little bit cautious. So please, you can record here itself. Okay. Please record that. Please record that immediately. Can I give 5 minutes time for that? No, can you please tell me anyone at least, regular batch student, can I give 5 minutes time for that? Is it my voice is audible?
Yes, sir.
Can I give 5 minutes time for that? Yes, yes, right. Okay, please complete soon. Is it completed, ma? Can I start?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. Right. So please, if still anybody is pending, I will share the notes at the end. Then you can do that. Now concentrate. Now, basically, what I will do first, I will explain each and everything in very basic manner. Sir, is it possible to explain all things in a single session, sir? No, no, I'm not dealing in deeper manner. I will only deal what is the chapter, what it will tells, why it was inserted in group 1 syllabus, the advantage if you know that. Such all things we are going to discuss. Then once we completed all such topics, then only I will enter into the real topic as on 16th or 17th of Feb. Is it okay to you? I have time up to the end of tomorrow. So I can spare a time to tell all such things about all the topics. Today still I am having 30 more minutes. Tomorrow I am having 2 hours more. In these 2.5 hours, first I am giving the basic idea. Sir, what is the advantage if you give like that? If I give like that the basic idea, if I am going to the real topic, before entering into the topic itself, you know, so what we are going to learn from this chapter. That gap is there. I want to fulfill that gap by utilizing these 2.5 hours. Is it okay to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, let me go with the framework for preparation of financial statements. Just give a second to me. 1 second. Right. Now, let me take up from category 1 onwards. Let me take up from category 1 onwards, which is framework for preparation of financial statements. Framework for preparation of financial statements. Can you please tell me, anyone, what is the meaning of framework? What is the meaning of framework? Normally, I'm asking you, what is the meaning of framework? So, for example, if you want to build a building, you can directly build that building without having any plan, without having any rule, without having any regulation. Can you build that? As I told, rules. Exactly. As I told, rules. Framework means, I can put it as like this. Framework means set of guidelines, set of rules, plan, a plan which shows the all such rules and regulations. Rules and regulations for preparation of financial statements. You are going to learn rules and regulations for preparation of financials. That is set of rules and regulations for preparation of financial statements. So after preparation of financial statements, if it is not in understandable manner, is it useful to any party? No. That's why one of the point, it should be in understandable manner. Like that, some points we are going to learn. Sir, can I apply the materiality concept for the purpose of preparation of financials? Materiality concept means, for example, just I am telling you a materiality concept. Sir, my firm is there for my entity, which is a Kolluru and Associates, the chartered accountant firm. Kolluru and Associates. It is a chartered accountant firm. Sir, for the chartered accountant firm, maybe stationery is one of the major expenditure. Stationery. That's why I will put separate head for the stationery. I will put separate head for the stationery. Okay. I may put separate head. Separate head. In P&L, stationery as a separate head. Now let me take another entity, which is a manufacturing entity, which is CEPL, Chaitanya Energy Private Limited, which is a private limited company. He is one of my client. He is one of my client. He's a CEPL. Sir, what he will do, sir, ante, he is under transmission of electricity. That is, he is a contract to the government. He is in the process of transmission of the electricity. He is also having stationary expenses. He don't want to show such stationary expenses with a separate head. He will club such stationary expenses in other expenses. I don't want to club. My materiality concept tells to us, for your organization, which is important, you can put as a separate head. But CEPL, it may not be a major expenses. They can put under the other expenses. Who told, sir, all such things? Who told? Tell me, yaar, who told? Nobody is telling, yaar. Are you with me? Who told all such things?
Financial.
Materiality concept. That means at the time of preparation of financials, you have to follow the materiality concept. Who will tell, sir, ante framework? A set of rule and regulation you have to follow at the time of preparation of financials. Maybe materiality, maybe understandability, maybe anything. I don't know. All such stuff we are going to learn in the first and foremost chapter under category 1, which is the framework for preparation of financial statements. What are the characteristics of the ideal financial statements? It should be simple. It should be understandable. Okay. It should not be rigid. It should not be biased. That means it should be unbiased. Sir, what is the meaning of biased and unbiased, sir? Pakshapatam. In Telugu, we are using the word pakshapatam, right? Sir, it should be in unbiased. Nispakshapatanga undali. Yes, obviously. So all such things we are going to discuss while discussing the framework for preparation of financials. Coming to introduction and applicability of accounting standards. So before dealing that, just I want to tell you three words. Concentrate, all of you. Accounting policy, accounting principle, accounting standard. Did you listen all these three topics? Accounting policy, accounting principle, accounting standard.
Yes, sir.
Then can you please tell me what is the difference between policy and principle first? Please, all of you participate. Please fire your bullets in the chat box or let me talk with me. What is the difference between accounting policy and principle? So most of the times you may listen to such words in your foundation as well. Accounting policy, accounting principle, and accounting standard. No, nobody is participating. Sir, one thing I am telling you, friends, sir, teaching is not a one-way communication. If I tell something, then it will be not into a good direction. So please participate along with me, whether it is right or wrong. What are the things you cannot just share with me? That's it. Policy, as I told, policy is a document. Oh my God. Then what about principle? What is the difference between policy and principle?
Compulsory rule, sir.
Is a
Compulsory rule, sir.
okay, compulsory rule is a policy or principle?
Principle.
Okay, what about policy? Ishwarika told principle means must and should be followed, sir. Okay. Policy means need not follow. Need not follow. Maybe I agreed with Ishwarika somewhat. Now, let me explain the real definition of accounting principle, accounting policy. Then I will start discussing. Then I will start differentiating accounting policy and accounting principle. First, let me finish the definition of accounting policy. Please participate, all of you. Accounting policy is an accounting principle and methods adopting accounting policies or accounting principle and methods adopting to follow such accounting principles. In preparation and presentation of financial statements. Accounting policy is an accounting principle. Accounting policy is an accounting principle and methods adopting to follow such accounting principles in preparation and presentation of financials. Oh my God, it's very lengthy definition is there. And even though after discussing the definition also, I know you not understood anything. Now let me build a small diagram for better understanding. For example, if it is an accounting policy, let us assume if it is an accounting policy, what it is? Accounting policy. Then accounting policy is an accounting principle. Accounting policy is an accounting principle. Maybe it is a accounting principle. We'll agree. Accounting principle. That means all the policies are
Principles.
Nothing but
Include
principles.
principles,
no. All the principles are
including
Accounting policies.
correct. Very good. All the principles are policies, and means plus or anything you can put. It's an accounting principle and or. Here both will come. Actually, and means only plus, but here plus or anything may will come. Methods adopting to follow such accounting principles. Methods adopting to follow such accounting principles are also treated as an accounting policy. Now I am giving one conclusion. Each and every accounting principle is an accounting policy, but each and every accounting policy may not be a principle. Will you agree? It is simple diagrammatic representation without knowing anything. We can conclude each and every accounting principle is an accounting policy, but each and every accounting policy may not be an accounting principle. Why? Because if it is only covered the method, then it will not be read as a principle, but it can be read as a policy. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, to differentiate policy and principle, I am giving one example. Concentrate, all of you. To differentiate policy and principle, I am taking one example. You know, all of you, inventory, right?
Yes, sir.
What is the
Stock.
meaning of inventory? What is the meaning
Stock,
of
sir.
stock, right? Correct. Sir, related to the inventory, at which value you have to record in the financials, sir? At which value? You are learning that point in your foundation. Can you please tell me, participate, all of you? Inventory, at which value can I record in
cost or
financials?
NR whichever is lower.
Super. Cost or
And
erasable value, whichever is.
Which is lower.
Tell me, this rule is applicable wherever you go in India. Whatever the organization you can take up, the same rule will be applicable, right? Tell me, yaar.
Yes, sir.
Sir, whether it may be a profit-oriented entity, whether it may be a non-profit-oriented entity, whether it may be a hospital, whether it may be a college, whether it may be a company, whether it may be a sole proprietor, whether it may be a chartered accountant firm like me. In general, I am not having any inventory. If I had, so definitely, then the same rule will be applicable. Now, to identify the inventory, identify means quantification. This is value, right? Identification means how many number of units you had, how many number of units you had, what time you purchased such units. To identify such things, you may follow FIFO method, right? Tell me, yeah. Sir,
Yes,
I am
sir.
having
First in,
certain
first out.
things, but when you will purchase certain day, you cannot find each and every item. That's why I may take FIFO method. Sir, first purchase sold out, sir. Last purchase are only there in my godown. FIFO. You may follow LIFO, right?
LIFO method.
That I assumed that only last purchase sold out, first purchase are there in my godown. I may follow average.
Weighted average.
Weighted
That is average means simple or weighted, whatever the case may be. You may follow average method as well, right? Which is for the purpose of identification of the stock. Sir, a method adopted to follow such principle, which is a pure accounting principle. And such accounting principle is also treated as a
policy.
Policy.
That's correct, which is also a policy. But coming to here, these are
Principles.
methods to follow that accounting principle, but it is are not a accounting principle. Methods, and these methods are also treated as a,
Policy.
but these methods are not treated as a.
Accounting principle.
That's it, friends. That is very thin difference between principle and policy. That's why so many times synonymously we are using policy and principle. That's why only some principles are only policies, but methods are not coming into the principles. So methods are only treated as a policy. That's why I termed as each and every principle is a policy, but each and every policy may not be a principle, friends. I will connect my charger. Just hold for a second. Just a second. Right. So is it my video is appearing to all right now?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let me conclude the conclusion part and we'll go to the next step. Concentrate. Conclusion. Just I'm drawing a conclusion. What is the conclusion, sir? You are drawing and conclusion is. Come on, friends. All of you participate with me. Each and every accounting principle is a
Policy.
super.
Accounting
Every
policy.
accounting principle is a policy,
But
but every policy
It is not.
cannot be a principle.
may not be
May not be.
Principle.
principle. That's correct. This is conclusion number one. Conclusion number two. Conclusion number two. Principle may not change from entity to entity. From entity to entity, principle may not change, but methods may change from.
Entity to entity.
Entity to entity.
That's it, friends. Those are the two conclusions I drawn from accounting policy and accounting principle. That's why what is the meaning of accounting principles are and these are simply I can put like this: rules and regulations to be followed while preparation of financials. That's why I don't want to give any specific definition for accounting principle. Why? Because principle definition was clubbed in the policy. So simply what is the meaning of principles? And these are rules and regulations followed compulsory or mandatory. Those are nothing but accounting principle. Now let me discuss entire discussion things related to accounting standard. Can you please tell me, anyone, what is the meaning of accounting standard and what is the necessity of introduction of accounting standards? First, I don't need what is the meaning of accounting standard. First, I want to know why accounting standards are introduced. Accounting standards specify how transactions and other events are to be recognized, measured, presented, and disclosed in the financial statements. Realme 3 Pro. Who is Realme 3 Pro, ma? Just may I know name?
Sandeep, sir.
Sandeep. That's good. You told the exact definition of accounting standards. It's correct. But I don't want to know the definition of accounting standard. I want to know why standards are introduced.
Sir, because many companies follow different ways, sir. But by the accounting standards, many of them use the same method, sir.
Sorry, you are telling right point, but I am not getting. Can you please repeat one more time?
Many companies use different methods, sir, for preparing of statements. But
Okay.
by the single accounting standard, everyone follow the same thing, sir. To prepare their
Oh, that
accounts.
means you are telling that. That means you are telling that. For example, coming to inventory itself, if one entity follow FIFO method and another entity follow the LIFO method, even though same organization turnover is same organization resources are same, everything is same, due to change in method from one entity to another entity, the results of the financial statements may change, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's why to follow the uniform accounting policy or uniform methods by each and every entity, accounting standards were introduced. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Super, beautiful. So she told only one point.
Sir,
Sir, to avoid the various accounting policies, follow the uniform accounting policies, one standard should be required. Sir, as per AS2, one standard is there. Each and every entity should follow either only weighted average or only FIFO. There is no other methods are accepted as per AS2. That is the reason why AS2 introduced, sir. Yes, agree. That means to avoid. That means to avoid. Just a second. To avoid various accounting policies and to follow uniform accounting policies. Uniform means standardized policies. Super. Agreed. Is there any other reasons? Can you please tell me?
To compare financial statements.
Beautiful. Beautiful point he told. Sir, if you want to compare two entities, such entities should be in comparable stage now. Sir, can you compare a CA foundation student with CA final student? So CA foundation, I got 80%, sir. But a CA final student, he got only 70%. Can you compare who is best?
No, sir.
No, right? So that means comparison should always happen in between comparable events. Means if standardized practices will be there. If I follow the same standard, you can also follow the same standard. Then both we can compare, right? Super. Sir, for the purpose of comparison in between financials of two different entities. Different entities. Two different entities. Now I have one more doubt. Why comparison? Why comparison? I don't want to make any comparison. What is the advantage of comparison of financials?
To know the exact position of the business, sir.
That is to know the performance. Sir, how you are performing, right? So what is your position in the entire globe? Sir, stakeholders always thinking your entity is good, the other entity is good. They will compare. That will happen. So comparison of financials only happen if two different entities follow the same method of accounting practices. Then only comparison is possible. Yes, good. So I need these 2 points. That is more than sufficient. There are still some more other points are available. Those are the basic 2 points to avoid the various accounting policies and for the purpose of comparison of the financials. Exactly. From these 2 points, I thought of you little bit understood why standards were introduced. Why standards was introduced. Now coming to the definition part, sir, what exactly the meaning of accounting standard? Sir, don't take these things are light, sir. Even though I am in the part of introducing each and every chapter, in the introduction itself, your thought process may completely change towards that particular topic. So that's why I'm taking that much of effort before going into the topic itself. So please concentrate. And once upon a time, asked the definition of accounting standard also into the examination. That is last before the before attempt. I think so in 2019 or 2018 November, like that they asked. Now concentrate. What is the definition of accounting standards? Accounting standards are written by somebody or coming automatically. Those are written by somebody, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's why accounting standards are written policy documents. Accounting standards are written policy documents. Okay. Written by whom? Can you please tell me?
Sir?
Written by whom?
ICAI.
ICAI. Oh.
Accounting Standard Board, sir.
Accounting Standard Board of ICAI. In ICAI, they are having so many boards. Examination board is there. Auditing board is there. Auditing standards board is there. So there are so many different boards are there. Like that, accounting standards are written policy documents issued by, correct, you are correct, issued by one that board is Accounting Standard Board of ICAI. Accounting Standard Board of ICAI, you are correct. Accounting Standard Board of ICAI. What is happening here? ICAI. Okay. Covering the aspects of covering the aspects of, sir, what they will cover, sir. So these are written policy documents. Ultimately, what they will cover, covering the aspects of recognition. One of my friends told beautifully the definition of accounting standard. It covered recognition,
Measurement,
correct.
presentation, disclosure.
Absolutely. Presentation,
And disclosure.
disclosure. What is the question they asked for 5 marks, you know? Can you please elaborate aspects to be covered by accounting standards? Simply. If you write these 4 aspects, recognition, measurement, presentation, disclosure, you will be awarded for full marks. That's it. Such a simple question asked in the examination. Now, to understand the better in these aspects, recognition, measurement, presentation, disclosure, just I want to give one example. Concentrate, friends, all of you. This is very important. So recognition means when I have to recognize a specific transaction or event into books of accounts. When? Let me give an example. So there is one standard called AS9 that is not form part of your syllabus. It is group 2 form part of syllabus. The standard title is revenue recognition. Standard title is revenue recognition. Sir, when revenue can be recognized into your books of accounts is ultimately told by AS9. That means if a specific thing is said to be standard, at least it should cover one of the aspects. AS9 uses accounting standard to say that it is an accounting standard. Sir, which aspect it covers are and recognition. Maybe more than one aspect also can be covered by a specific standard. At least one aspect should be covered. When I have to recognize the revenue. When? Now let me go to the measurement. I already gave an example. Just I will connect that AS2. So just now we completed here. Inventory should be valued at cost or NRV, whichever is lower, right? At which value you are going to measure? At which value you are going to measure? which is nothing but measurement. Presentation, how you are going to present. Let me take one of your standards. So what are the standards covered? Let me take this standard AS3. Let me take AS3. Sir, how you are going to present cash flow statement?
statements.
Cash flow statement is one of the financial statements you have, right? Cash flow statement. Tell me, yaar.
S3. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
1 second, ma. Here in our syllabus, here I ignored one thing. Along with financial statements of companies plus managerial remuneration plus cash flow statement is a separate chapter is there. Now let me write that as well. Here just I am writing. Anyway, financial statement means it will cover a cash flow statement also, but let me write. Can you please add that topic as well? Which is a separate chapter you had. Cash flow statement. A separate chapter. Please add it. So presentation, how we are going to present such cash flow statement? Disclosure. What are the additional information you want to provide along with financials? The title of AS1, do you know? AS1 title, maybe most of the
Valuation of
persons
inventories.
AS1 valuation of inventory.
Disclosure, sir.
Disclosure of accounting policies.
Accounting.
Disclosure of accounting policies.
Accounting policies.
You know the meaning of accounting policy. What are all the different accounting policies followed by your entity should be disclosed at a single place as an additional information, which is nothing but disclosure. Can I show a practical example of the disclosure? Just give a second. Just I will show a practical example of disclosure for one of my clients. Just hold for a second. I will show that. Let me go here. So I told you, right? Chaitanya Energy Private Limited is one of my client, which is the financial of the CEPL. Okay, which is the previous year audit report actually. So these all are the financials. If you observe here, significant accounting policies is there or not? Tell me, yaar. Here there is
Yes,
one
sir.
word, significant accounting policies. What are all the different accounting policies you followed? Sir, fixed assets and depreciation. What is the accounting policy? Borrowing cost. What is the accounting policy? Revenue recognition. What is the accounting policy? Foreign currency transaction, employee benefits, earning per share, taxes on income, related party transactions. Like that, for different issues, what are the accounting policies followed by you? They are showing under additional information. Will you agree, all of you? Where is it? Tell me, friends, they are disclosing something as an additional information. What are all the different accounting policies they are followed under the different areas, which is nothing but disclosure. That means if you take any standard, that standard at least covers one of the four aspects. It may cover more than one aspect as well. So accounting standards are ultimately written policy documents issued by Accounting Standard Board of ICAI, covering the aspects of recognition, measurement, presentation, disclosure. Can you please tell me, did you understand the definition of accounting standard?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Why
sir.
accounting standards were introduced? Did you know now?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now let me follow the same blueprint. So let me complete the category 1 for the today's session. I don't want to explain any standard in detail. Just I am mentioning the titles. All of you concentrate. You are having space. Please mention the titles as well. So just now we completed what is the AS1 title? Disclosure of.
Disclosure of accounting policies.
Okay, please all of you participate. Disclosure of accounting policies. Okay, AS2.
Valuation of inventories.
Correct. Correct. Valuation of inventory. Valuation of inventory. AS3.
Cash flow statement.
Cash flow statement. AS10.
Property of plant and equipment.
Property, plant.
Property and
Equipment.
equipment. Correct. AS11.
Change in foreign exchange rate.
Accounting for foreign currency transactions. Accounting for foreign currency
Currency transaction.
transactions. Accounting for foreign currency transactions. AS12
Government
government
grants.
grants, correct. AS13 accounting
Investment.
for,
Investments.
correct. Accounting for investments. AS16
Borrowing cost.
Borrowing cost.
exactly. Borrowing cost. So just I am giving the titles of each and every standard. I don't want to deal in detail, but I will tell you one thing. AS3 I will not deal separately. AS3 will be clubbed in while dealing companies. Cash flow statement chapter is there, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
I
Yes,
will
sir.
club AS3 along with cash flow statements chapter. Next, number 2, I will not deal investment accounting for investment standards separately. Sir, if you see special transactions, investment accounts are there, right? I will deal this along with AS 13. Here I will deal along with AS 3. Next. AS11 is there, right? AS11, accounting for foreign currency transactions. Tell me, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I will deal that standard along with branch accounts. Along with branch accounts. That means independently I am dealing AS1, AS2, AS10, AS12, AS16.
16.
3, 11, 13 will deal along with the topics. Is it okay to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. In tomorrow's session, I am giving intro to special transactions like investment, insurance, hire purchase, and installment. For special accounting like departmental, branch, and incompleted records. Then followed by finance statements of companies along with managerial remuneration and cash flow statement, profit or loss prior to incorporation, bonus and right issue, redemption of preference shares, redemption of debentures. Then from 16th or 17th onwards, we will entering into the real subject. So hope today's session understandable by each and every person. If you have any doubt, please let me know before closure of the session. Do you have any doubt for the today's session?
No, sir.
So I will share the entire document for your reference as like in the yesterday. So please, you can get it to the document in the respective group. And still, if you have any doubt, please let me know in the respective group as well. Until bye-bye. See you soon.